What's going on, Bucs fans? We're here for a State of the Union emergency podcast here on another episode of the Parlay Sick podcast. Cannon Fire Clips. Luke Goedeke has signed or is about to sign a 4-year extension worth $90 million. Guys getting paid. You hope to see this happen before the season started. And Jason Light, he's got all sorts of tricks up his sleeve. We'll get into the nitty-gritty, what it means for the Bucs going forward, what the actual contract details are, where he's getting paid, is where he ranks up towards everybody else, and all that right after the break.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Pirate Parlay.
Battle intercepted, picked off in the end zone. Bucs are going to beat the Chiefs. We're the champions of the world.
The sickest Tampa Bay Buccaneers podcast. It's going to be sick.
Welcome back to another one of these Cannon Fire Clips here on the Pirate Parlay podcast. On the Sick Podcast Network, I'm JC Allen. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, turn notifications. Everyone listening to podcast format, appreciate you. But you miss out opportunities like these random little lives that we're doing here. And the story of the hour, Luke Goedeke, Buccaneers right tackle, has agreed to terms on a 4-year, $90 million extension, locking him up with the Buccaneers and giving them their bookend tackles locked up for the foreseeable future. Goedeke he was entering the final year of his deal, much like other members of that 2022 draft class, Zion McCollum, K-Dot, and Rashad White. And Logan Hall is another one. So all those guys are coming up on the end of their deals here. Luke Goedeke always remained the one that looked like likely to get the extension before the season. Lo and behold, he gets it around 6:00 on Tuesday night. Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times broke the news that Luke Goedeke was signing a 4-year deal. Shortly after that, Ian Rappaport tweeted out the specifics, and they are 4 years for $90 million. $50 million of that guaranteed, gives him an annual average of about $22.5 million, which currently places him third amongst all right tackles in the league. Surpasses deals recently signed by Taylor Moton for $22 million and Zach Tom for the Packers for $22 million. So puts him as the third highest paid right tackle in the league. And I got to say it's deserved. You look at Penei Sewell, you look at Lane Johnson, those are the big names. I think it's Brian O'Neill up in Minnesota is another one of them. Spencer Brown up in Buffalo. He's another one that you look at when you talk about right tackles. And Caleb McGarry, as far as run blocking right tackles for the Atlanta Falcons, he's obviously not going to be with the Falcons for the season after he had to get surgery. So, Taylor Moton, another one who I mentioned, and obviously Zach Tom, those are the upper echelon guys. And Luke Goedeke proved that he belonged up there. Last year, finished top 5, top 6 in rankings and run blocking and pass blocking rankings, and offensive blocking rankings as a whole per PFF. You filter out to over 900 snaps minimum, which is what you want to see out of a starter. And Luke Goedeke even missed 5 games last year with a concussion. But he still was performed at a high-end level amongst the right tackles in the league, and I think is only getting better. He's only 26 years old. He'll turn 27 in November. But we're talking about a guy the Bucs drafted originally to be their left guard of the future. And his rookie year didn't turn out too well the way he would hoped it. I'm sure he would say that. He got shoved into that left guard spot, started the first 7 games of the season there, 6 games of the season, and it was just pitiful. It was not pretty at all. You wouldn't get into any games until week 15 later in that year, and that's kind of a jumbo left tackle. But then something happened. That was the year Wirfs went down. He got injured right before the end of the season. In the Atlanta Falcons game in week 18, Luke Goedeke was thrust into action at right tackle, his natural college position that he played at Central Michigan. Remember, the Bucs love to take these tackles and move them inside. They did it with they tried it with Luke Goedeke. They did it with Spence. They did it with Graham Barton, who was a left tackle. He had some center freshman year, but left tackle at Duke. They also did with Cody Moak, who was a left tackle as well, who they moved over to right guard. So complete position switch. Same thing that kind of Luke tried to do his rookie year. But it was much better efficiency, especially as a pass blocker. 70.2 grade he finished out with there, one of his highest of the season. Didn't allow any pressures, no hits, no hurries, no sacks. He had a really strong performance there. Fast forward into the 2023 season, you move on from Donovan Smith, and now it's time to figure out what you're going to do at left tackle. Well, you have one of the best right tackles in the NFL, so why not see if you can play left tackle? And that's exactly what they did. And Luke Goedeke got that opportunity. They saw him in that one game action and said, all right, I think we've got something here. Didn't really sign anyone to back him up. I think Schooley was here. That was a big signing to back him up. And he went out there and had a really good start to the season. Well, maybe not a good start to the season. Minnesota, that still had Danielle Hunter at that time, and he got a sack on him, a couple pressures, but still held up really well in pass blocking and overall offensive blocking. And the second game of the season against the Bears was flawless for him. 74.3 grade pass blocking, 79.5 run blocking, 74 overall. That was really the essential. And when you say, okay, maybe we got something here with that. Penalties were an issue. He needed to clean those up. He had 12 of them his first year starting at right tackle. But he started every game for the Bucs that season. And there were some challenges along the way. He had some difficult matchups that he had to go against, and he let up some sacks, 6 sacks on the year, 44 pressures on the year. But wait till you see what happened this next season. And again, he did miss significant time. He missed 5 games with a concussion. But the sack numbers dropped in half. He went from 6 sacks to 3 sacks. Went from 44 pressures to just 17 pressures. One of his sacks came against Micah Parsons. Good luck with that. He's going to be a difficult challenge no matter what. The sacks came against the Ravens and the Panthers, but the highest amount of pressures he's given up in one game was 4, and that was to Micah Parsons. Other than that, a lot of it was schemed up pressure. KC likes to do that. Baltimore loves to do that, and that's where they got him for multiple pressures in a game. He had 5 games with 0 pressures against the Giants, who Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, not slouches, the Panthers, the Raiders, Max Crosby held him. He abused Max Crosby in that game. It was not pretty. The Saints, and then in the playoff game, 0 pressures at all. Nice clean 83.7 blocking grade, second highest of the year. So when you look at the ascension from Goedeke, from coming in as a potential left guard candidate to really, having, I guess, luck that Tristan Wirfs got injured and had to miss week 18. So he had to go fill in for him because it gave the Bucs a look to see there might be something here. And the short arms, that was the reason. Short arms. We asked Goedeke about these are when he first came in, these are the only arms I've ever known. I don't know if they're short or not. So he gets the job done. You see the outpouring of support, people coming out, and just people who know ball. Ben Stolick calling him one of the most underrated, probably the most underrated player in football. Other Brandon Thorne coming out with a show. It was the offensive line group coming out with show support. So it's a great move for the Bucs. I put out a post. They're paying Tristan Wirfs now, second highest paid right tackle in the league, $28.125 million, and then you have Goedeke as the third highest paid right tackle in the league at 22.5. But the ability to sleep at night, knowing you have your bookend tackles locked up for this foreseeable future, priceless. And Jason Light, man, he just does it again. Agreed to the Mike Evans deal while I was having a conversation with Wayne Gretzky. Several deals done on boats so far in his last 2 years as GM, and now he breaks one at the Buccaneers' 50th premiere of their documentary Raise the Flags. Just breaking news out here. I wonder where he will break some news next. We got Slim Stank in the chat saying, woohoo, Christopher Cole going, let's let LFG. Game on. I'm so happy for Luke, a friendly team contract, and I only hope his concussion issues in the past. He did start wearing that Guardian cap as a protection. Luke, I'm sure Luke is one of the guys who hates it. Probably hated looking at it when it came out, but now it's better safe than sorry. Anyone else have any questions? Feel free to drop them in. What this means for the Bucs and why it was so important to get it done, because obviously the tackle market is going to continue to explode, and I really do think Goedeke is in line for a big season. My bold predictions will come out here soon, not only on Pirate Parlay, but over at Bucs Game Day, where we're pumping out content. I've got my breaking news story about Goedeke signing, so check that out. But I'll have my superlatives, my bold predictions, and my season-long predictions. Those will be sprinkled out throughout the week, along with my 100th episode with a very special guest, and our Falcons preview episode as well with another special guest. So lots of stuff. Like I said, lots of stuff coming your way this season. We're going to be pumping it stuff out. But I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, with Luke Goedeke, how does they want to get out in front of it, right? Want to get out in front of the market, and I think this deal does it. $22.5 million is pretty reasonable, I feel like, for a guy of his level. And where I was getting to is my bold predictions. I actually have him finishing top 5 at his position. I wouldn't be surprised top 3. I wouldn't be surprised when you look at the end of the season, you see Penei Sewell, Lane Johnson, and Luke Goedeke right there. Potentially, maybe, probably not because he doesn't have the name that recognition, but he'll have the numbers for a Pro Bowl. I think Cody Moak will too. I think both of those guys take a big step, and the right side of the line is just going to be dominant. So what it means for the rest of the team, well, 2022 draft class still has plenty of people unsigned. Logan Hall probably is not a candidate for an extension, maybe a re-sign at the end of the season. Zion McCollum, Kate Otten, 2 guys who are also out there who are expecting to potentially get extensions at some point. Zion went out and signed Drew Rosenhaus, so you know he wants it, but Zion's got to prove it. And I think the Bucs feel comfortable with letting both of those guys go. We'll probably keep track of Otten's injury status. You know, he hasn't really missed games. He's been an Ironman, but 3 games at the end of the season, a little banged up during the season, banged up halfway most of training camp. Maybe they want to keep an eye on that. But it would behoove them if they were to get on top of both of those guys, because Zion's number can go from $18 million a year to $26 million real quick. Same thing with Kate Otten. He's probably projected around 11 or 12, but that could jump up to 13 and 14. It's the benefit of getting a deal done sooner, but it does limit your cap flexibility as well. So we'll see. I think Zion would be likely, but I wouldn't be surprised if they let both of those guys play it out. And for Zion's case, it's going to work out better if my projections go the way I think they do. I think he's going to have a monster season. Having Antoine Winfield Jr. back, having the pass rush of Hassan Reddick on that right side or left side of the defense with him, just harassing quarterbacks, and the pressure they're going to get, I think, with front 4 is going to lead to a lot of errant passes and a lot of again, he didn't have the trust there last season, I don't think, with all the different safeties that were rotating when Antoine Winfield, and even when Antoine Winfield was back, he wasn't 100%. But when Winfield's there and you have a solid pass rush getting after the quarterback, you can take some of those chances you might not take with, let's say, Kayvon Merriweather back there or Christian Izien back there, because they're not the same caliber of player. So I think he takes a lot of risks, pays off. I think he gets more than 5 interceptions this season, maybe a Pro Bowl, maybe a Pro Bowl nod. And then he gets paid, and hopefully that's by the Bucs. But if not, they hedge their bets with 2 second-round draft picks. So outside of them, Rachaad White seems destined to explore free agency. So he's going to go. Christian Izzy and Sean Tucker, 2 undrafted free agents that are still with the team from that year. Those are guys who I think probably Sean Tucker might test the waters, and Christian Izzy is more of a re-sign candidate. More than an extension, maybe like an after the season in between period extension, 2 years, $12 million or something like that, something cheap, give him that versatile spot. Bowles loves him, so he's going to want to keep him around, but you never know. If they do what I think they do, everyone's numbers go up a little bit, so they might not be able to afford them. And that's another reason why I think the Goedeke signing is smart, because if the Bucs have the success they're looking for this season, everybody's numbers go up. So if I were them outside Zion now, I think what you get from Otten, 12 million is a little too steep right now, but we'll see. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. Quick little live jaunt just to break down this. We're going to, like I said, we're going to have more stuff later during the week. More cannon fire clips, as we call them. We'll have them during the week. to break down some of my thoughts before the season starts. And again, I think a lot of you guys are going to really like where I have the Bucs headed this season. We'll have to see. Everyone watching this later, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, drop a comment below. Everyone listening to on podcast, appreciate you guys. That's it for us here at Pirate Parlay on the Sick Podcast Network. Another Cannon Fire clip, and we are out of here. Peace out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Pirate Parlay on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.